Hello and welcome to this morning's news at Old Trafford. I'm Casey and this is Stretford Paddock. And it's a chilly morning for those of you who want the weather report. It was raining before, it's not raining now, hence why I've got my hood down. But for those of you that are enjoying this in the warm indoors, grab whatever drink you want, coffee, tea, orange juice, apple juice, whatever. And let's just go through the news. Let's have a talk about it. Let's see what's happening in the world of United today. Now let's start on United's most pressing transfers, and that is at left back. Fabrizio Romano reported the other day that United have a list of three names for left back. Reguilon was the first, who obviously has now gone to Tottenham. Tej, however pronunciation is correct, we'll get on to why that's got to be brought up, was the second, and there's an unnamed third source, which Fabrizio Romano says he won't name unless United go in for him. But the Mirror, obviously not the most reliable of sources, have given a couple of options of who they think that might be. The first one is a young Ukrainian lad by the name of Vitaly Mykolenko. He's 21 years old. He's very young, obviously. Like, this is one for the future, sort of building in the sort of framework of what Solskjaer wants. He wants to build for the future. He's played for Dynamo Kiev. He's made 8 appearances for the Ukraine national team, and in 79 appearances for Kiev has registered 5 goals and 13 assists. We got linked with him a bit earlier on in the window. There was a bit of talk around, we were looking at him for about 20 million euros. Apparently AC Milan are also interested. This could be another case of United getting named to push up the price. But yeah, it's not one I can't really say, oh, I've seen him play loads of times. I think I've watched Dynamo Kiev once. He probably was playing. Didn't really stand out to me as like, that lad's good. So in terms of my expert opinion on him, I'm not really sure. If the scouts think he's good, then obviously you got to trust the scouts on that one. So, but then the second left back is more known, I'd say, and I think a lot of United fans will know him. Obviously, a lot of general football fans will know him, and that is Nicolas Tagliafico from Ajax, 28-year-old Argentinian left back. Obviously, again, going back to Ajax, using that link we have with Van der Sar and the director of football role, maybe using that. Just a couple of stats, let's throw them out there. He's got 4.2 combined tackles and interceptions per 90 in the Eredivisie, and that goes up to 7.5 combined in the Champions League, which is obviously across a smaller pool, but it's still ridiculous numbers. Has 4 goals and 5 assists in all competitions. And they're obviously linking with him as sort of a backup at around £23 million. Yeah, it's an interesting one. I've always seen him as more of an attacking left back. Obviously, that's what we kind of need. It's in the mode of Alex Telles, who is very attacking, and it seems like that is the most likely third option. However, Laurie Whitwell has a podcast with Andy Mitten and Cal Anker called Talk of the Devils, and on it this morning, just giving it a listen before I came on here, he said that United have seemed to try and steer conversation away from Nicolas Tagliafico, so that might not be anything in that rumour. However, things happen very quickly. But Laurie Whitwell did say that where United are quick to shut down rumours that aren't true, they seem to have shut down the fact that we've agreed personal terms and fees for Telles, but they haven't seemed to shut down the fact that we have intermediaries talking about a deal for him. So yeah, we're talking for a deal for Telles. How it's progressing, it seems to be about 20 million euros. There was reports last night that Jorge Mendes has got involved as sort of an intermediary broker, as he does with all Portuguese transfers, as we can see by how Wolves operate recently. Everyone in Portugal goes through Jorge Mendes. It's sort of like Mafia Don levels of transfers with him. But we'll have to wait and see. There's no real movement on the Telles transfer, but there's a couple of names there for if the left back option is what we're sorting out. It seems to be that if we get a left back, Brandon Williams will probably move over to his favoured right side and provide backup for Wan-Bissaka, and then Telles or whoever it is will rotate with Luke Shaw. So we're going to move on to the next story now, and that is on. It's a bit of a mixed one. It's Ismaila Sarr I'm going to talk about for a bit here, and it's it could affect us by us signing him or by Dortmund signing him. So we'll go through this. Ismaila Sarr, apparently we acquired about him in January, but there are no imminent deals on the table, no approaches sort of thing. Apparently relations between Watford and United are good after James gone alone. That's according to Adam Leventhal of The Athletic. But Ismaila Sarr apparently is also on the list for Dortmund's replacements for Sancho if he goes to United. That's according to Fabrizio Romano. Now I was having a look at Watford's squad depth, and at right wing they've got quite a lot of wingers, and at right wing they seem to have a lot of things. So it's a lot of, if they get rid of him, they won't need to bring in a replacement. They already have the players. They have, just to name a few, they have Deulofeu, they have João Pedro, who they brought in this summer. They've got Isaac Success. Roberto Pereira can play on either wing. Will Hughes plays a bit further back in right mid. So obviously they have options if he goes out of the door. So I feel like that's a transfer that could get completed very quickly if things start to move, as in United do get Sancho or don't get Sancho. And it's a player I'd like to see at United. I quite liked him in the Premier League. I thought when he got chances on the ball in that Watford team that weren't very good at creating sort of chances, he looked dangerous on the ball, he looked fast, he looked good going forward, and obviously he was a major part of the reason Watford beat that Liverpool team. But we'll have to wait and see on that one. Now moving on to an outgoing transfer, and that is the ongoing saga of where will Chris Smalling end up at the end of this window, and hopefully not in the United defence is the answer I'm going for. Apparently Chris Smalling is a target for Roma. They've obviously put in a bid for him at 12 million. We got rejected. We want closer to 18 for the player. But apparently there could be a chain of events, a domino effect, that may see Chris Smalling end up at Inter Milan. Now, it was reported by Fabrizio Romano that Tottenham are interested in Milan Skriniar from Conte's team for about 60 million euros. He's not wanted by Conte. He doesn't seem to fit his system. He's not really the sort of player. I said I'd like him at United, but thinking on it, he's a bit slow. He's not sort of the player I'd see partnering Harry Maguire. It might end up with a similar situation to what we have with Lindelof right now, where two centre-backs are trying to play the same sort of football and we just get done by over-the-top balls. But apparently if Milan Skriniar goes to Tottenham, then they will look to replace him with either Nikola Milinkovic from Fiorentina or Chris Smalling. So apparently Antonio Conte really likes Chris Smalling, and Inter Milan could make a move if AS Roma do not. I think Chris Smalling obviously showed some of his best football last season in the Serie A, but I feel like that's the way that he plays his game, very suits that style of football. He's not very combative, he's not really tackling sort of thing. He's that sort of defender who kind of cuts out trouble when he sees it, but that is... we have to wait to see. I hope that we obviously get another centre-back in. I'd like to see us sign a centre-back, but I'd like to see Chris Smalling get a good move, because obviously I still think he's a decent player. I just don't think he's the sort of player we should be going forward in the United defence. And finally, just a report that it was reported that Manchester United are set to lose the most money from COVID-19, and that is apparently projected to be around 139 million. And I feel like that was kind of obvious when we looked at it. I mean, you see it as sort of an excuse that might get thrown around for why we haven't spent money, but we have the highest capacity in our stadium. 139 million was going to get that from gate receipts, probably from a bit of sponsorship. You don't know. Some companies might not want to sponsor us anymore because they're just unsure about the situation. So I think that was a given. I think Arsenal was second in that list. Yeah, we're going to lose money. Everyone's going to lose money. But the thing is it's just spending money. It needs to be done. You've seen a situation now where Tottenham are spending money. Daniel Levy has actually finally got his wallet out of his pocket and is spending money on players. So I feel like United need to really see where they are right now and start spending. And hopefully that's on Tejas. Hopefully it's on a right winger. Maybe on a centre-back. We'll have to see. But that is all we have time for on this morning's Paper Talk. We'll be here again tomorrow with all the news. Hopefully some more updates for you. And we'll have transfers live, probably with Jay and Joe. Maybe Jay and Alex. We'll have to see. later on tonight, so make sure you tune in for that. Again, I've been Casey, this has been Stretford Paddock, and we will see you next time.